Welcome to another TruckPay video tutorial. My name is Ben, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use TruckPay's brand new additional job document feature. This is the most powerful tool for automatically creating digital chain of custody e-manifests for hauling waste, hazardous material, and contaminated dirt. Whether you're a material supplier, aggregate producer, scrap metal yard, or truck broker, creating custom e-manifests, documents, and reports has never been so easy and so customizable. So without further ado, let's get started. For the purpose of this tutorial, I happen to be using a Mac, so I'm going to be using numbers to do everything. But everything that I'm doing in numbers can be exactly replicated in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. So let's open up that fresh, blank new spreadsheet. To do that, I can either open up Excel, Google Sheets, or Numbers and just open up a blank new spreadsheet, or I can just click over here on View Template and download a blank spreadsheet that we automatically provide for you. So now that we have our blank spreadsheet opened up, let's just take away all this gray over here because I don't like the way that looks. So I'm gonna just turn that to be white, and there we go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is insert some custom headings for our actual spreadsheet itself. And this is going to help us better understand what kind of data we're looking at. I'm gonna fill out a few over here. I don't like how that is too small height-wise, so let's just expand that a little bit. We'll just click the Fit button over here, and I think that this could be a little bit wider. There we go. That looks good. So now we have our custom column headers, and if we wanted to, we could also put custom row headers as well. So now that that's done, let's head back into TruckPay and take a look at the additional job document generator. Now for the good stuff. Let's get some data into that spreadsheet. So the first thing that we're going to have to do to have TruckPay insert the data that we want into the spreadsheet template is to select from a list of available TruckPay functions. TruckPay functions are like categories of data for the fields you would like to have inserted into your custom manifest or report. We can see a few that we have over here. We can get the data for the company that is creating the additional job document, get the start and end dates over which an additional job document is being generated, but the one that we're actually going to use for this tutorial is the get different fields for the current delivery for the job. I'm going to click on that, and now you can see it's time to select some function fields. Function fields are pieces of data that you would want to see on your custom e-manifest or report. These function fields pertain to whatever category of data that we've selected. For example, since we've selected the delivery for job function, we can see that we can select the check-in date and time, the check-in latitude and longitude, the check-out date and time, check-out latitude and longitude. We'll probably want to know the job name too. One little shortcut that we can do to get down is type in the word job, and now we can see we've got name over here, and that's the job name. And we'll probably want to know the driver's first name and last name as well. Great. So now let's just click off of the screen, and now you can see that we have a newly generated function over here. What we are eventually going to do is copy this function right over here and paste it into the spreadsheet. But before we do that, we can actually customize a few of those fields. So you can see over here that we could customize our job name. Let's see what we can do to it. If we click on modifiers, it looks like we can modify the case of it. We can make it all uppercase or all lowercase. So if I select lowercase, whenever our custom e-manifest or report is generated, once we upload this template, whenever you see the job name, it will always be lowercase. I feel like uppercase makes more sense though. So I'm gonna click add for upper and click save. We could do the same thing for the driver. We'll keep that as uppercase as well. As you can see, we can't modify anything on the check-in coordinates, but we can modify the check-in date and time. So if we wanted to, we can modify the time zone and have this, for instance, always return in America, New York time. Another useful type of modifier might be if you're displaying the truck weight, you can select to have the modifier display the weight in different types of units. So as you can see over here next to our selected check-in date time and check-out date time fields, we have the Move to Scheduled button. If I click on this, you can see that our generated function now updates to include the scheduled field check-in date time. What this is going to do is once we actually upload our template over here and actually generate it and set up the generator, we're going to be able to set the generator to have this automatically export whenever a driver checks out of a job or during a specific time frame, daily, weekly, or monthly. So the Move to Schedule parameter over here next to the check-in date and time allows TruckPay to easily filter out the daily, weekly, monthly, and annual deliveries based on which of the fields are scheduled or not, and if those actual dates fall within the specific trigger time frame. So now that we've fully customized everything over here, let's scroll down and take a look at our function field map. This is a really powerful tool over here because this allows us to fully organize our spreadsheet by just dragging and dropping our selected fields around. So if we go back to our spreadsheet over here, remember we wanted to actually input our driver's name over here. So let's put in driver name. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So let's head back to TruckPay over here and add 6 cells. Or actually, let's add 5 more cells because we already have 1. So we're going to just click on the Add Cell button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And now we have 6 total. And as you can see over here, we can always delete one if we'd like to. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag the driver first name into column 6 and the driver last name into column 6. And now you can see that column 6, since we made that align up in our spreadsheet with the driver name, we now are going to have that field filled with the driver's first name and last name. Job name was column 5, so I'm going to drag job name over there. We have our check-in date and time on column 1. But on column 2, we have our check-in latitude and our check-in longitude. We then have our checkout latitude and our checkout longitude. And we have our checkout date and time. Look at that, nice and organized, and almost ready to go. There's just one more thing that we're actually able to do over here, and that is add strings. So what's a string? A string is just a word. And what we're going to do is add some custom words to our specific cells over here. The purpose of this is so that you can add text as a prefix or a suffix to your data. So for instance, I could have driver checked in at, and then TruckPay would automatically fill in the check-in date and time after the text driver checked in at. And if you wanted, you could add even more text to appear after the check-in date and time data. So to add a string, let's click Add String. We'll input our text. For instance, driver checked in at :space add. And you can see we have our custom text over here. But if we drag our check-in date and time below the custom text, now the custom text will appear before the actual date and time, which makes sense if you're reading it. So let's also add one more string for the checkout time. So driver checked out at :space add. And now you can see we have that over here as well. But what I'm going to do is drag this right over to here. Alrighty, so looks like we're done here. We have fully customized our spreadsheet over here using TruckPay. So now it's time to let TruckPay do its magic. We're now going to copy our generated function over here by clicking the copy button. And now in the first field, we're going to paste that function. You can see that obviously the text didn't automatically expand. I can make it so it does. There we go. Do not worry about all this being in one field. Everything is going to be exactly filled out the way that we specified on the function field map that we did all of our dragging and dropping on. Now that we've pasted it, All we have to do is click File, Export, Excel. If you're using Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, just make sure again you're saving as an Excel SX file. Now, if I go to Document Templates and click on New Template, I'm going to call this Tutorial 2 Template. This is for our tutorial demo. I'm going to click Attaches To, and now I'm going to select if this data attaches to a job or delivery. Now, because we're actually looking for check-in date and times, coordinates, as well as the driver name, this seems like this is really going to be attached to a delivery, not just a job. Remember, deliveries happen on jobs. So I'm going to click Delivery over here. And now I'm going to drag and drop our tutorial TP right into the Upload XLSX file view. And then I'm going to click Save. And there we go. We have Tutorial 2 template right over here. One thing worth noting about adding custom text to a specific column is that if you do add that custom text, you are making it so that the spreadsheet itself will be unable to perform numeric calculations on that actual cell. So for instance, if you had a number filled in there and you added some custom text before displaying that number, if you wanted to perform calculations with that number in Excel, for instance, you wouldn't be able to do so. But for allowing the actual document or the e-manifest to be nice and readable, adding custom text makes a lot of sense. Alrighty, so now it's time to actually generate this template. So let's click on the 3 little dots over here and click on New Generator next to Tutorial 2 Template. And now we're going to have to specify what type of jobs are going to have this template created for it. We can select between current and pending jobs. I'm going to choose our current job, our Tutorial 1 job. We also have a Generate PDF toggle. This is a small but powerful feature that allows TruckPay to automatically generate a PDF for your custom e-manifest or document that you have just uploaded. And the good thing about that is that PDFs aren't as easily editable as a Excel spreadsheet is. So, for instance, if you wanted to send a PDF of all the data to someone to just easily view it, you could do that. So now that we have our generator all set up, it's time to actually view that generated document. And for that to happen, we need to have a driver check in and then check out on a specific job. The Tutorial 1 job to be exact, because that's the one that we selected. So if we go over to Jobs over here and click on Current, we can view our Tutorial 1 job, scroll all the way down, and you can see that we already have one additional job doc that was generated. But this is for our other template that we previously made, not this one that we did in our tutorial. So what we're going to have to do now is simulate a driver checking in and checking out. We've now simulated a driver checking in and checking out, and now, as you can see, we have 2 new additional job documents. One that was triggered from our previous one that we created, and then our new Tutorial 2 template. We can now view a spreadsheet or a PDF because we selected the Generate PDF toggle of our newly generated custom e-manifest or document. So if I click on the View Spreadsheet button right over here, you'll see it will automatically download, and if I click it, here it is, our newly generated custom document with data from TruckPay. Nice and organized in this Excel spreadsheet. We can see that we have our custom text over here with our check-in date and time automatically filled in. We have our coordinates, of course. And over here you can see that we have the date and time before the custom text to kind of just demonstrate how you can create a prefix over here and a suffix. And obviously if you wanted to, you could add text before or after like I mentioned earlier. We have our coordinates here as well, our job name in all capitals because that's what we set as the modifier, and same with our driver name. We have our first name and our last name right over here in all caps. And there you have it. TruckPay's additional job document tool to create custom e-manifests and reporting documents. This is the most powerful e-manifest and e-document reporting system there is on the market. We are so proud to finally release it to you all, and are so excited to have you guys all use it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if you have any questions, feel free to go to truckpay.com and open up a chat with us on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And make sure to check us out on social media at TruckPay on Instagram and at TruckPay on LinkedIn.